The Subaru Forester finds itself matching up with heavy hitters like the RAV4 and the CR-V, which puts it smack in the highly competitive but high demand compact SUV class.
And in this class, what do people care about? Style, comfort, space, amenities, and fuel economy. So let's get behind the wheel and dive in. Now, before we dive into the meat and potatoes of what this Forester is, I want to talk a little bit about the background of Subaru. This is our first Subaru press loan, so on the channel we haven't had a lot of them. So for those of you that do follow the channel that don't know a lot, we're going to cover that here. Now, think of it like this. In the United States, we have the big three. We've got Ford, GM, and Chrysler, Stellantis, whatever you want to call it. In Japan, they go even harder. They've got Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Mazda, Nissan. They do a lot of manufacturing there. Now, Subaru falls on the smaller side of that. You've got massive giants and titans of industry like your Toyotas and your Hondas, and then you've got your smaller brands like your Nissan, or excuse me, not your Nissan, but your Mazdas and your Subarus. Now, that doesn't mean that they produce lackluster products. They're still strong products, and Subaru's brand identity is, well, aside from being the dog-friendly brand, is kind of split into two categories. One, we have to talk about the enthusiast side, and this is where that rally heritage comes from. Subaru has been racing in the World Rally Championship for decades, and they've been absolutely killing it, and they've brought a lot of that technology into their consumer cars, specifically their all-wheel drive system. Everybody wants an SUV, everybody wants all-wheel drive, so they deliver that here in their incredible symmetrical all-wheel drive system. That means equal power front and back. And the second category goes in tandem with that first category, and it's the fact that that technology does trickle down to your everyday consumer. Every single Subaru that you can buy right now comes with that all-wheel drive system. And like we said, everybody wants that, especially in the Midwest here, when you have inclement weather, rain, snow, whatever. You want to have that system. And the simple fact is, we talk about the symmetrical all-wheel drive system. That's the same basic principle that a four-wheel drive system is built on. Your best off-roaders, your trucks. So you start to see people that, you know, want something a little bit more comfortable than like a Jeep or a 4Runner start to buy things like this. So if you're into that adventuring, if you're into dog ownership or kayaking or, you know, hiking or doing any sort of adventuring, this is the car for you because it comes with that built-in capability across their entire lineup. And you don't have to go up market for it. You get it on the base model of every car, and that's really, really nice to have. But for now, I think that's enough background. Let's give the keys to Paulo and get into the meat and potatoes of what this Forester Sport comes to be.
Thanks for that history, Matt. So this is a Forester Sport, but don't think that that gets you a better engine. It comes with the same engine that are in all Foresters, the 4-cylinder 2.5 liter Boxer, making 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. So think of the Sport in the Forester Sport as kind of an appearance factor, the orange trim, basically. But we'll get to that. In terms of transmission, you have the brand standard CVT, which for everyday riding, honestly, is fine. But when you really look to test it, you know, as we try to do, you do get some weird tuning at low speeds with it. You also have paddle shifters in here, which I know a lot of other manufacturers that have CVTs, they do it as well, but like, why? And then from there, you have all that power going to an all-wheel drive system, which, as you know, I mean, Subaru is basically known for that, right? Their all-wheel drive systems are fantastic, especially up here in the Midwest with the winters that we have. Now, aside from the sporty badge and the body kit and some of the accents, it's really not that sporty at all. It uses a fixed spring and damper setting, which actually does a good job balancing the car between firm enough to put it into a corner and soft enough to be comfortable on bad pavement. As far as general behind the wheel impressions, it's nice. It's comfortable, it's an easy drive, it feels really, really spacious in here. This dash is low, really good visibility throughout all the windows, but let's actually meet up with Matt and we'll talk interiors and exteriors and we'll touch on that a little bit more. How you doing? Let's talk looks.
Here we are again with the Subaru Forester Sport.
Yes.
So here's the thing. This is the Sport, and you can tell it's the Sport because it's got all of this going on. Orange, orange,
trim, yeah.
Orange everywhere. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, that's really kind of the only sporty thing about this thing.
Right.
And the badge on the back that says Sport. Now I will say, I do like the paint. This is like my
color.
wife's favorite color, like the deep navy. I think it contrasts well with the orange, and then the fact that it has the Illinois orange plate on it, I think is like, it's real fighting Illini, you know? And as a Wisconsinite, I don't really know how I feel about that, but in any case, I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, like the overall design of the Forester, I like, and then I like the accents that the Sports come with. You know, kind of just jumping, I guess, to the side. I like these rims a lot, and I like how they stuck with one color.
Yeah, we were just reviewing the Santa Fe, and they have the two-tone thing, and a lot of manufacturers do that, but you like the simple cohesiveness of the simple, what is black, yes?
Yep.
It's not like a dark gunmetal.
My favorite part about this car, honestly, is the exterior look.
Honestly, I totally agree. It's a simple design. It's not trying to be like overly modern. It's a classic kind of SUV, boxy-ish shape with a little bit of modern touch. I like that you get Forester in the headlights up here. It's kind of the LED shape. Blacked out grille. That's Sport LED fog lights down there. It's a good looking car. It's got a little bit of hood bulges. And then you get around to the side. We talked about the wheels, but then you get your orange accenting, you get your orange roof rack.
What are your thoughts about how the door handles and
I was just about to say.
How's that feel to you?
It's like made of paper mache. Okay, so here's the thing. And we'll get into this in the final thoughts, but this is like the cheapest entry to this class. It starts at like 26 grand. So it's affordable, and you can tell.
Yes.
So there's that, but you know, other than that, you've got this kind of plastic cladding that's making it, you know, appear off-roady, and that makes sense as it's a Subaru and it's, you know, symmetrical all-wheel drive. Around the back, you've got your Mr. Krabs tail lights, which is great. Your orange Forester Sport, and then this is the thing that I don't understand. We've got our orange accenting around the diffuser, but we've got count them, two little humps, and there's only one exhaust port.
Cut out,
like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but at least that's not cut out with just like no exhaust pipe. I know some other manufacturers have done that in the past.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, like,
maybe they'll make an STI version, because that's what everyone needs.
That'd be actually kind of sick.
Then it would be the Sport.
Yeah,
it would make sense.
Then it would actually be called the Sport.
It would be kind of cool then.
No, but honestly, I mean, I'll say it again, like overall, I really like, my favorite feature again of this car is the exterior. I think it looks good. Yeah, cladding, the black cladding follows on the back, the diffuser with the orange accents. At least you actually have a true exhaust here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for like adding more personality to the styling of cars, but I think if I'm honest, with something like this, the design itself is solid enough where you don't need all of the orange stuff, so I think I wouldn't get the Sport. I'd get the Limited. Yeah,
I agree. I like, if it's just literally these aesthetic features,
it's
like
just the accents.
It's not worth it.
Well, speaking of that, let's hop inside. Yeah. So, Subaru Forester interior. We just got done talking about the orange accents on the exterior and how that's giving it the Sport name or the Sport badging. So it's not really anything happening mechanically under the hood.
Right.
Gives a little bit of personality. That translates into here. Pretty obviously, we've got orange stitching across the dash. We've got orange plating on your shift boot. Your shift boot actually does have orange stitching as well. X mode down here. And then the air vents have that outline of the color, similar to how like the Type R does. And I've mentioned my feelings on the Type R, but I like the way that the Kona did it, the Kona that we tested earlier. Yeah, so it's just the tab that you use to adjust it.
Had the accent color in it.
It's just more
that better.
Subtle. Yeah,
more
just
subtle,
more subtle.
Exactly.
I think that's better. Of course, you've got stitching on your inside of your steering wheel, but the biggest asset, and I think the nicest thing about this Forester, is the actual like space and the feeling that you get behind the wheel. It is huge in here.
Yeah, no, that was like the biggest surprise to me getting in, was how spacious it felt and also how much visibility you have. Like, these windows are massive. It's really, it's spacious, and there's just so much good visibility. Just going back to the materials real quick, there's a lot of different materials in here, different textures.
Yeah.
I know you said that this cloth has S's in it for Subaru.
Yeah, so there's this gray cloth. I don't know if it's for, because I think it's just in the Sport trim.
Oh,
so I don't know if it's just the Sport or if the S is for Subaru or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it adds a little bit of personality. You also have like a dimpled texture up here on your door card, and like, I don't know, it's fine, but I think there's just a lot going on stylistically, and the outside has such a good and solid design language that the interior doesn't need to do so much. But, you know, you have that. Also, before we kind of get into technology, because I have thoughts, but we have for those of you, we're going to peel back the curtain, we have this Hyundai Santa Fe this week that we're also testing. That's a half a step above this in terms of like segment, price, and size. And honestly, it feels bigger in this interior, to me. The way that the light comes in, the way that the windows are, the visibility, this feels bigger to me than the Santa Fe.
Yes, in the front seat, I would agree with you. I do think maybe the color of the liner is playing a part in that, because that is the black suede in the Santa Fe, and I think maybe that contrast is making it feel a bit smaller. But I will agree that it is surprisingly spacious in here. Absolutely. Fair
enough. Are you ready for my technology rant now?
Yes, please give it to us.
Okay. Strap in, everyone, because we're going to talk about Bluetooth. It's 2021. We've had Bluetooth since like the Drake and Josh days.
Yeah.
Like this is not new technology. Now, when I get into these cars, I do a bunch of different tests. One of the tests is, obviously, you pair your phone to the Bluetooth, you play music.
That makes sense.
Did that, got in, paired fine, normal, I was off. Got to my destination, I got out of the car, got back into the car. My Bluetooth should reconnect to my phone automatically, yes, and it does. The problem is, it functioned like within the first 10 seconds. Like back in the day when you were a kid and like your dad would play a CD and you would like jump or be playing around and then the CD would skip. So it did that. I pulled you in to show you. We got through about 10 seconds of a song and it skipped, and then it started to get worse.
Yeah, it skipped like every 10 to 15 seconds.
And then before we got to even a minute of the song that had played, it skipped to the next song.
Yeah, just like, yeah, that was so odd.
I was like, what is happening here?
I was glad though, because it was a trash song.
Bo Burnham's Inside special deserves more respect.
Yeah, I'm sure watching it, but like just listening to it.
Jeff Bezos, great song. Let's not get into this.
This is an 8-inch touchscreen.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the user interface, the software of this?
You know my thoughts, but they don't know my thoughts. So this is, like you said, the upgraded 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system. And I stress upgraded because the graphics, the speed, the processing, the whole experience that you get looking at it looks like basically the same user experience you would get from like the 1999, RCA VCRs that they were stealing in the first Fast and Furious movie. Like the graphics are old. They're kind of like, I don't know, they're just kind of tacky. Like it doesn't look like a 2021 system.
Absolutely not.
It's just not there for me. I mean, you do get a semi-digital cluster, and like this car is not about the technology. And when you consider like, okay, we've got a little screen up here, but like make this better.
Yeah,
make this better.
You at least want some of the basic functionality to work correctly. But
and you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and like that's fine. You plug it in, and that's fine. But yeah, the best thing about this is the space. So
back seats.
Back seats. This to me is like, I mean, we talked about it up front. The size and the space is the best thing. I've got like over 6 inches of leg room. I've got like 3 inches of headroom. The panel roof comes about halfway back. Yeah. So it's not like the full roof, but it's enough to bring some air in, especially with a darker cabin.
Yeah, because
you've got your S upholstery.
You're like 5'9" and I'm 6'2", so I have a lot of
have some respect.
I'm just kidding. You have some good storage back here.
Yeah, you have
behind the
seats
amenities for your CDs, since the Bluetooth doesn't work, so that's awesome. And your Atlases.
Or your Atlases, because it's a Subaru. You do have vents back here, which is nice, and then you've got
USB for charging your phone.
Does it make up for the Bluetooth? No, I don't know. I will say Subaru's EyeSight, the safety suite, we didn't talk about it up front. It's pretty decent. It's a good middle of the road system. You've got your lane keep, your blind spot, and all that sort of thing, and it's fine. It works well. It's not as good as something like a Hyundai Driver highway driving assist, but it's it's not marketed as such.
You don't have an auto dimming rear view mirror. Oh my. It's like the old school one where you gotta flip
the tab. It's super spacious in here.
No, I get, what, for what it is and who it's marketed to, I think it makes sense.
Let's also keep in mind that this starts at 26 grand.
Yeah.
Undercuts pretty much everything else in the segment.
I'll say this. I think they focused on the right things. Like, you want your Bluetooth, you want some safety features, heated seats, exterior looks, but again, it's just like, I wish you didn't have that infotainment system issue, because
that really
I feel like that's tainting your overall thoughts of this thing. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. Like the trunk is decent size, the rear seats are huge, the front seats, the visibility is great. You have that all-wheel drive system, that legendary Subaru Rally Bred system, that's symmetrical.
Yeah, that is an awesome
You've
system.
got X mode up here, so off-road, and okay, so here's the thing. I talk about this on my behind the wheel, but like Subaru really stays true to their branding, and their marketing is honest, and I appreciate that. Having spent time in this, because it is like kind of the adventure vehicle. You don't get all the glitz and glam and all the fancy, luxury stuff, but you don't want that, because the person that's buying this supposedly is going out kayaking and hiking, and like this is the great car for that. Yep,
absolutely.
So with that, should we get into final thoughts?
Yes. So after spending some time with this Forester, we found that Subaru ads are some of the most honest and genuine out there. This Forester, aside from the name, doesn't pretend to be sporty, but it does have good space, comfort, and handles tough driving conditions really well.
And while the Forester lacks some of the reliability of a Toyota, the zip of a Honda, and the refinement of a Mazda, it starts at $26K, which makes it one of the most affordable offerings in the class. As tested, our Forester just topped $32, and at that price, it'd be a great adventure companion.